3 bone-chilling true horror stories that haunted me at midnight. For the clock struck midnight, the witching hour when the veil between our world and the unknown flickers like a dying match. In that eerie hush, I found myself drawn to 3 bone-chilling tales, each more terrifying than the last. My heart raced, my breath quickened. I felt as though unseen eyes were peering into my soul, waiting for me to unravel their mysterious threads. These are no ordinary stories. They linger in the shadows like echoes from a haunted past, ready to pounce when least expected. The first tale took me back to a small, worn-out town hidden among the whispers of the mountains. Decades ago, an old woman lived there, shunned and feared by the locals. They say she dabbled in strange rites, collecting old bones and performing rituals under the light of the moon. One stormy night, a group of brave youths decided to confront her, armed only with bravado and a flashlight, their laughs piercing the thick fog. They stumbled upon her dwelling, a crooked shack with gnarled branches that seemed to claw at the sky. As they knocked, the door creaked open, revealing a darkness as deep as their fears. An icy chill swept over them, and they heard whispers soft, urgent, warning them to leave. But curiosity got the better of them. What they found inside still ties their souls to that cursed place, their screams swallowed by the night. Then came the strange sighting down by the old railway tracks. Every full moon, a shadowy figure is seen from afar, flickering in and out like a faulty projector. Locals claim it's the ghost of a conductor who perished in a tragic crash. My heart ached at the thought, what kind of pain must echo through eternity to keep a soul bound to the ground? A rugged man, eyes wide with fear, swore he saw the conductor looking straight at him, hands reaching out, desperately trying to warn him of an impending doom. The townsfolk shrugged it off. But everyone wondered, could it be that they too were marked? But the darkest story awaited. It started with an innocuous knock at the door. A woman named Lily heard it while home alone one night. The sound was light, almost playful, and her curiosity piqued. With every step towards the door, dread twisted her stomach. She peered through the peephole, only to find nothing. No one. Her chest heaved. She could swear she felt cold breath on her neck, like icy fingers brushing against her skin. The next day, she discovered a message scrawled on her bathroom mirror, "I'm closer than you think." Chills cascaded down her spine, and paranoia gripped her like a vice. For the following nights, shadows danced just outside her window, their shapes sending her pulse racing. Whoever or whatever was tormenting her seemed to always be lurking just out of reach. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. As the stories wrapped around me, I couldn't shake the feeling that they were more than just urban legends. Each tale was a thread in a tapestry woven with the fears and pain of those who lived them. My heart thundered as I heard another knock, this time from the window. Could it be a trick of the mind, or something far more sinister? What about the next tale, the one that could make the hairs on my arms stand at attention? The questions burned in my mind, urging me to explore deeper into the shadows that lay waiting, just beyond the light. What horrors awaited in the darkness, and was I brave enough to face them? The tension in the room grew thicker, like fog rolling in from the dark outside. My heart raced. I couldn't ignore the knocking anymore. Had it always been there, hidden beneath the tales? Or was it a new horror demanding my attention? I glanced toward the window, my breath catching. Squeezing my eyes shut didn't make it go away. I felt foolish, yet fear coiled within me, wrapping around my throat. Slowly, I opened my eyes once more. The world outside, cloaked in darkness, sent a chill down my spine. Another series of knocks echoed against the glass, more insistent this time. Was someone truly out there, or was my mind conjuring new terrors? Then, without a second thought, I jumped to my feet. The only way to quiet the fear that gnawed at me was to confront it head-on. I crept toward the window, each step fueled by dread and morbid curiosity. As I reached for the curtain, a flash of lightning illuminated the darkness, momentarily revealing what lurked outside. My heart plummeted. Standing right outside was a figure, drenched in rain, face obscured by shadows. My blood ran cold. Had I seen that face before? The bizarre familiarity sent my mind spiraling. Thoughts raced. Was it a ghost? A warning? Or perhaps someone more sinister? As the thunder boomed, the figure's hand moved upwards, fingers tapping against the window like a drumbeat in my chest. Help! A whisper floated in the room. It was faint, barely coherent, yet powerful enough to send goosebumps cascading across my skin. An involuntary shiver shot through me. I edged closer, but everything inside screamed for me to run. What if it was a trap? A ploy from the darkness to drag me into its depths? As the figure ducked aside, I caught sight of something: tiny porcelain dolls lining the windowsill, each with cracked faces and glassy eyes, staring back at me. A chill of familiarity washed over me, the name, Sophia, whispering into my mind. The long-forgotten childhood friend with a penchant for the eerie, liked to collect odd trinkets and dolls to decorate her room. My heart raced as memories collided with the present. Sophia had gone missing years ago, and here I was, haunted by her remnants. Come outside. The plea became clearer, more insistent. I need you. Adrenaline fired through my veins as I blinked at the weight of those words. What did she need? And how could she even? I felt sick. My gaze flicked toward the hallway where the door led out to the storm. I stood there, teetering on the edge of disbelief. Don't leave me. Please. The voice grew frantic, and my heart cracked a little more at her desperation. Could I really trust that voice? Familiarity had a way of disarming fear, but would it lead me to the truth or drag me deeper into the horror? I gripped the edge of the windowsill, the porcelain dolls staring for answers as fear and determination wrestled within me. In a heartbeat, my decision solidified, and I flung the window open, the rain pouring in like an uncontrolled torrent. The figure stood before me, face still shadowed, but a glimmer of recognition sparked. Through the downpour, I could see a hint of the familiar and terrifying truth lurking behind those eyes. What lay ahead would test every strand of resolve I had. With each inch I stepped outside, the echo of ancient shadows surrounded me, whispering their secrets into the eye of the storm. But at what cost? Would I find Sophia or become another soul lost in the dark? The storm raged on, the figure beckoning me deeper into the night. What awaited me beyond the threshold? What horrors would I uncover as I followed a ghost's call? And what if that ghost wasn't asking for help but something far worse? The rain lashed against my skin, a cold embrace that sent shockwaves of dread down my spine. The figure remained just out of clear sight. My heart raced, every pulse thrumming with uncertainty. I felt exposed, standing on the precipice of a yawning darkness where forgotten nightmares lived. Come, the voice, sweet yet laced with an unsettling urgency, sliced through the storm's roar. I took a tentative step forward, the ground squelching beneath my feet, mud sucking at my shoes as if trying to hold me back. My instincts screamed at me to flee, to retreat back into the warmth and safety of my home, but I couldn't shake the desperate pull of familiarity. With every step, the darkness thickened, swallowing the world around me. The figure beckoned me deeper into the storm. I squinted, trying to make out details, my heart pounding with a raucous beat, a brutal reminder of my humanity in this otherworldly landscape. Questions tumbled through my mind. What happened to Sophia? Is she really out there, or is this some twisted game? Suddenly, a burst of thunder cracked like a gunshot above me, momentarily blinding me with the flash of lightning. As my vision returned, I felt a rush of raw panic. The figure was closer now, the shadow shifting slightly, revealing a flash of soaked hair that hung limp, clinging like cobwebs. Sophia? I called out, my voice shaky, barely audible over the pelting rain. Closer she stepped into the faint glow of the streetlight, their flickering hue casting a haunting glow upon her face. My heart twisted painfully in my chest. Those eyes, those were unmistakably hers. But the pallor of her skin, the gauntness of her cheeks, filled me with a chilling realization. She looked like a ghost, a faded echo of the vibrant girl I once knew. "What happened to you?" I choked, every syllable a struggle as the low rumble of rolling thunder echoed my turmoil. A faint smile ghosted upon her lips, yet it didn't reach her eyes. I waited for so long, found what I was looking for. She paused, as if the words weighed down her spirit. "But I can't leave. You have to help me, please." The weight of her plea hung thick in the air, yet dread rooted me in place. I could see the shadows dancing behind her, writhing and swirling as though alive, hungry for attention. The porcelain dolls from my window flooded back into my mind, their glassy stares now feeling menacing rather than benign. They weren't just remnants of the past, they were harbingers of the truth I was refusing to accept. "What do you need, Sophia?" I whispered, desperate and horrified. "Help me find them before it's too late." My stomach dropped as the realization settled over me. The dolls, her twisted collection of memories, were not mere toys. They were pieces of a puzzle, dark remnants of a life snatched away too soon. As if reading my thoughts, Sophia's expression darkened, a flicker of distress passing over her delicate features. "They're watching and waiting. They want you too." Sudden screams erupted in the distance, piercing through the storm like shattering glass. Panic surged within me, a white-hot flash of terror. The darkness seemed to congeal, pushing inward as though it wanted to engulf me whole. "Don't turn away," she cried, extending her hand. "You can't leave me here." But could I trust her? A wavering resolve shot through me. The storm raged on, a furious symphony of chaos and confusion. As I hesitated, glancing back toward the safety of my home, a split-second decision, yet pivotal, her eyes darkened, transforming into something extraordinary. The sound of tinny laughter reached my ears, echoing from the depths of the storm, cold and cruel, threatening to shatter my mind. What waited for me behind the veil of darkness? Was Sophia the one I knew, or had something far more sinister taken her place? In that moment, the fear was palpable. I had to choose. Would I plunge into the abyss, facing the truth of my past, or turn back and risk losing her forever? The scream of wind spiraled around me, drowning out any remaining thoughts as I stared into the chaos, ready to leap into the unknown. But what if, in taking the plunge, I awakened a horror that should have remained asleep? The moment hung heavy in the air, twisting my insides like a vice. Sophia's hand beckoned, fingers trembling, but the space between us pulsed with hesitation, electrified by the screams echoing in the distance. I had choices before me, but all I could feel was the weight of darkness creeping ever closer. "Please." Her voice pierced through the storm, raw and desperate. "You have to trust me." Thunder rumbled overhead as if nature itself was in tune with my turmoil. The shadows behind her stretched and twisted, unfurling like the dark tendrils of a nightmare. My heart thundered in my chest, battling between the familiar warmth of our friendship and the chilling emptiness radiating from her now. Was she trapped in this storm like me, or was it worse? Had something taken her place entirely? Just as I wrestled with my decision, the laughter returned, high-pitched, mocking, a wordless taunt spilling out from within the swirling darkness. It conjured images of the porcelain dolls, their vacant eyes watching, waiting. I could almost hear them whispering, insidious little secrets wrapping around my mind like tendrils of smoke. "I'm not alone." Sophia's tone shifted, her voice quivering with fury and fear. "We can't let them take you too." My instincts kicked in, forcing me to move. I inched closer, driven by a need to know, yet every step sent icy tendrils creeping up my spine. I could see the contours of her face, the way anguish etched her features, but also something darker lurking on the edges. "Who's watching, Sophia?" I pressed, my voice barely louder than a breath. "They're not just watching," she whispered, wild eyes darting around. "They're hungry. They feed on fear, and they'll stop at nothing to claim you." Her words pooled around us like quicksand, sucking away any remaining courage. Before I could process the implication of her words, the ground trembled beneath me. The shadows behind Sophia coalesced into shapes writhing, shifting, contorting. Eyes blinked into existence, gleaming with hunger, pulling at my resolve. A chill crawled down my arms, clutching at my throat. Then, in a sudden movement, one shadow lunged forward, grasping at the thin air between us. My lungs screamed for air, a panic that felt primal and uncontrollable. "What do I need to do?" I yelled over the rising wind, desperation clawing at my voice. "Find them!" she shrieked, tears battling against the rain that cascaded down her face. "The dolls! They're the key!" The revelation crashed through me like a wave. The dolls. Each one held pieces of her, pieces of, what? Memories? Souls? I could feel the storm intensifying, a fury unleashed by our connection. The shadows screeched, each noise like an echo of lost children calling for help, twisted cries that clawed at my heart. "I will!" I cried out, instinctively gripping her hand. For a heartbeat, the world stood still. Her grip tightened, warmth rushing through me, but in the next breath, the shadows lunged. I could barely withstand their pull, the darkness threatening to drag me into their gaping maw. With a sudden rush, I pulled Sophia closer, refusing to let go. "We need to find the dolls." The moment my words left my lips, I felt the energy shift. The storm around us howled with newfound vigor, but instead of retreating, I felt an electric charge flow through the air. Sophia's eyes flared with a strange mix of hope and terror as the shadows writhed, unsure. But what did that mean? Would we find a refuge, or would this unleash something more terrible? Suddenly, the wind shifted, ripping through the darkness. In the distance, I spotted a glimmer of light. A flicker. It drew me closer, illuminating a path through the chaos. "Follow me," I urged, clutching her hand tighter. As we raced toward the light, shadows pursued us like predatory wraiths, eager to reclaim their prize. I knew then, without a doubt, if we made it, everything would change. If we failed, a scream pierced the night again, a chilling reminder of what awaited us both. But what lay at the end of that fragile light? Would we uncover the truth or unleash a horror that would consume us all? The light beckoned like a siren's call, shimmering against the backdrop of violent darkness. Every step promised safety, but the weight of the shadows haunted my every breath. I gripped Sophia's hand tighter, our fingers intertwined, a lifeline in the chaos. "Faster!" I urged, my voice rising above the fury of the storm. The flicker pulsed, invigorating my resolve even as the howling wind carried whispers, taunts from the night itself. They clung to my ears like gnats, swirling with dread, echoing the laughter I'd heard earlier. Each sound flared a memory of the dolls, their insidious eyes boring into my soul, hungry for fear. That we plunged forward, the ground beneath us soaked and unstable, the rain cascading in torrents. I could feel something behind us, creeping closer with every hurried step. Shadows curled and twisted, reaching, stretching into grotesque shapes, merging with the darkness. A thick fog of dread enveloped us, and I fought the urge to look back. "What's next?" I panted, glancing at Sophia. Her expression was a blend of fear and determination, but beneath it simmered something else, something almost feral. Was it the storm fueling her, or had she been transformed by the darkness surrounding us? "There!" she yelled suddenly, pointing toward the source of the light. It flickered like a candle threatened by the wind, but still illuminated a clearing ahead. The shadows momentarily recoiled, as if they feared the light. I tightened my grip on her hand, and we dashed toward the warmth, the tang of hope mingling with the bitter taste of fear. The swirl of chaos began to fade as we reached the edge of the light, and I barely dared to breathe. I in the clearing, dozens of dolls lay strewn about, their porcelain faces cracked and smeared with dirt, but their eyes shone bright and unyielding. The light radiating from them was the same glow that had drawn us in, pulsating in sync with our racing hearts. "They're here," I breathed, awestruck and terrified. "What do we do?" "Each one holds a piece of my story," Sophia murmured, her gaze lost in the sea of dolls. "Find the right one, the lost one. It's the only chance to break their hold." I started sifting through the remnants of innocence, moving quickly, my fingers grazing the cold skin of the dolls. Each one was like a tiny vault of memories, but the feeling of being watched lingered heavily. The shadows twisted at the fringes of the clearing, watching, waiting for their moment. "What does it look like?" I pushed, my heart pounding, the rhythm syncing with the rain drumming around us. "I don't know," she cried, desperation swelling in her voice. "I just feel emptiness. It's the one that screams the loudest when you hold it." My breath caught. I shifted through the dolls, each expression more haunting than the last. Then, I felt a gentle pulse beneath my palm. I pulled a doll from the pile, its eyes wide and glassy, a haunting reflection of Sophia's own terror. "Is this it?" I asked, trembling as I held it up. A sudden howl erupted from the shadows, malevolent and insatiable. They surged forward, engulfing the light, trying to snuff it out as if its mere existence threatened their darkness. "It's them!" Sophia cried, her eyes widening. "You have to hurry." With trembling hands, I pressed the doll to my chest. An electric shock ran through me, and in that moment of connection, I felt the world shift. A tangle of memories flooded my mind, images of laughter mixed with sorrow, and then nothing. Silence. The shadows recoiled, shrieking as though I'd plucked at their very essence. I could feel the pull of dread as they fought back, desperate to reclaim what we had unearthed. What did I unleash? I gasped, panic swelling. But something deep inside urged me to stand firm, to hold on. The flickering light dimmed, and the shadows closed in. If this doll was a key, what door would it unlock? Would it save Sophia or destroy everything? I could feel the darkness closing around us, each breath growing heavier. And then I heard a soft, cackling giggle, crawling from the abyss as the ground beneath me trembled. "Find the one," it sang through the storm, "and the horror will only begin." The shadows writhed, a living mass hungry for the light that flickered feebly in my grasp. The giggle echoed, twisting through the air like a serpent coiling around its prey. I stumbled back, my heart racing as I felt its chilling caress against my skin. "Keep holding it," Sophia shouted, her voice barely cutting through the cacophony of dark laughter. "Don't let go." The doll pulsed in my hands, a strange warmth battling the ice forming in my veins. I felt the memories surfacing, sharp and vivid. Images torn from the fabric of innocence replaced by the echoing strength of despair. My mind was a whirlwind, each memory tugging me deeper into a past I had no right to witness. That I struggled, tearing my focus away from the deluge of emotions as the swirling shadows advanced. Wisps of darkness reached for me, their icy fingertips grazing my arms, shocking me back to the present. I had to fight. And yet, something deep within me craved understanding. What were these shadows? "Find the right story," Sophia yelled again, her eyes pleading. "They're drawn to it. It has to resonate with you." I held the doll tighter, letting its energy wash over me. Every crack in its face was a portal into the lives it had seen. I suppressed my instinct to recoil as I tried to sift through its essence. The air thickened, a wave of dread hanging heavy and oppressive, almost stifling in a grasping embrace. Beneath the chaos, another voice rose, a sharp whisper threading through the storm. I strained to hear it, my pulse quickening. "You think you can break the curse? They'll take your light, and leave you in terror. Who are you?" I yelled into the maw of darkness, my voice swallowed by whispers that danced just beyond reach. The shadows seemed to thicken, and the laughter swelled, mocking, relentless. Just a guardian of lost souls, the voice trailed off, replaced by the tantalizing cackle that grew louder, echoing in my chest like a thunderous drum. The ground shook, rippling beneath us like a creature stirring from deep slumber. The dolls began to vibrate, their eyes blinking to life. A wave of sheer terror swept over me, and I began to tremble. The darkness loomed ever closer, eager to engulf us in its enormity. "Look for the emptiness," Sophia shouted, her voice cutting through the noise, fierce and steady. I closed my eyes, pushing past the noise surrounding us, diving into the tumult of feelings flooding me from the doll. Each memory beckoned like a siren. Emptiness. Peace. Fear. Laughter. I felt them slither through me, clashing. Nothingness tugged at my core, urging me to understand, and then I saw it, a doll nestled at the very edge of the light, its porcelain face smeared, eyes wide but glassy, like a reflection of the deepest void. It had an emptiness that roared louder than all the rest, a call that gnawed at my insides. It screamed of loss, of shadow, but what lay behind those eyes? I found it. I yelled, lunging for it just as the shadows coiled around us. The sensation of being watched intensified, the air crackling with malevolence. "Run!" Sophia shouted, and I surged forward, clutching the doll tightly, dread pooling in my belly as laughter erupted from the darkness. Suddenly, the clearing was no longer spangled with light. The shadows closed in around us like a tempest, a living cloak dragging me back. I stumbled, fear clenching my heart, and in that instant, I thought of Sophia. As I turned to reach for her, I saw something shift in the air. A ripple of dread swept across the clearing, and with it came the bone-chilling realization that we weren't alone. Figures cloaked in shadow emerged, their eyes confiscating the light around them, a mockery of innocence, dolls transformed into grotesque beings, inching closer, ready to consume. They would take everything. "What have we done?" I whispered, trembling against the encroaching darkness, feeling the pull of something ancient and cruel, but the doll screamed in my hands, invisible worlds colliding. The whispers crescendoed into frenzied laughter, promising only dread. The true horror awaited, and as we braced ourselves for the darkness, I knew this was only the beginning. What deeper truth would be unveiled once we crossed that line? Which stories would decide our fate? The ground beneath us crackled as the figures drew closer, their twisted forms merging with the shadows, hopping toward us with unnerving grace. The laughter reverberated like a death knell, and every pitch sent a shiver racing down my spine. I could practically feel the grip of the darkness tightening like a noose, squeezing all hope from my lungs. "Stick together!" Sophia shouted, her voice cutting through the chaos, but even she seemed to tremble, fear threading through her words like poison. I clutched the doll tighter, its rough edges digging into my palms, grounding me against the turmoil. A sudden burst of adrenaline surged through me. I couldn't let those things get Sophia, not now. As if sensing my resolve, the shadows recoiled for a moment, their laughter pausing, replaced by a heavy silence, oppressive and thick. In that horrifying stillness, I could hear my heartbeat, a frantic drum echoing in my ears. "Look at them!" I shouted, feeling a surge of anger bathe over my fear. "They're scared of the light." I took a deep breath, focusing on the warmth of the doll in my hands. There had to be a reason this cursed thing was pulsing with energy. "Turn off the power," Sophia shouted. Her eyes widened, realizing what I was about to do. "You can't control it. It's my only chance." I yelled back, not even sure if my words were meant for her or to ignite my own wavering courage. I focused hard, channeling every flicker of light within me, ready to turn the warmth into something tangible. The darkness seemed to swirl violently, agitated and menacing. "You dare defy us?" It was that voice again, sliding through the shadows, now laced with fury. But I envisioned the doll's history, the pain locked within its porcelain. The loss. The heartache. I had to set it free. As my thoughts swelled, a golden light erupted, bursting from the doll like sunlight breaking through a storm. It illuminated the shadows, dispersing the dark like fog. The figures recoiled, screeching, their grotesque features dissolving in the brightness. The light blazed brighter as I felt my fears begin to ebb, replaced by a fierce determination. "It's working!" Sophia shrieked, her voice a hopeful tune amidst the chaos, but as the creatures started to fragment, I noticed something darker coiling at the heart of the light. Something insidious. The golden hue flickered, casting shadows of my own fears back at me like reflections in a haunted mirror. "Don't focus on that." Sophia's shout cut through again, desperate and sharp. I pulled the energy back, redirecting it towards the shrieking shadows. Yet as they began to dissolve, I suddenly felt a tug at my heart, a sinking dread, so strong it took my breath away. "The doll," I gasped. "There's something wrong with it." The sound of a child's voice echoed, sweet and innocent, reverberating around us. "You can't break the curse until you understand what lies beneath the shadows," now frayed into wisps, danced around the light, teasing it, warping memories. I looked down at the doll and realized its face was shifting, its expression morphing into something darker, a mask of fear, begging to be heard. "No!" I cried, panic rising. "I want to let it take me." But the shadows pooled closer, hoarding all the light, their whispers intertwining with laughter. Let go or suffer," breath hitching in my throat, I steeled myself and took one last look at Sophia. Her intensity sparked back a small ember of hope. "What do we do?" Just then, the doll's voice cried out, desperate, "Find my truth." What truth? What price was I willing to pay to unravel the horror woven into this doll? And before I could answer, the light flickered wildly, revealing a vision of darkness that loomed far greater than the figures before us. What dark secret was intertwined with the doll's curse, waiting to trap us forever? The world around us churned in chaos as the shadows pulsed like a living entity, encircling us. I could feel their cold breath against my skin, a chilling reminder of how close they were. Panic clutched at my chest, but the image of the doll's transforming face held me captive, its eyes dark, depthless, and that haunting plea, "Find my truth." "What do you mean?" I shouted into the whirlwind, desperation dancing at the edge of my voice. The answer seemed just out of reach, taunting me. The doll appeared to flicker in my hands, its porcelain surface reflecting the golden glow that pulsed from deep within. If I wanted to unleash it, I first needed to unlock its secret. In that moment, Sophia's hand found mine, squeezing with a mix of fear and determination. "We can't just stand here. We have to fight," she yelled over the tumult, her voice a lifeline amid the encroaching darkness. The shadows hissed, an angry chorus that sent chills down my spine. "Fight? You are nothing but vessels, mere puppets in this game." I stumbled, my thoughts racing. "But what game?" I yelled back at the obscurity, my voice cracking. "What do you want from us?" A rattling gust responded, and the taunts morphed into distinct words, echoing like thunder. "The truth you seek lies buried in pain." I looked down at the doll again, the plaything that had brought us to this nightmarish moment. Clenching my teeth, I fought against the gnawing fear, forcing every ounce of courage into my palms. "I will find out." As if my resolve acted like a spark, the doll's light flickered, shimmering like fleeting hope. Sophia maintained her grip, her eyes wide with fear but fierce in their determination. Together, we stood against the encroaching shadows. A sudden shift coursed through me as the doll whispered again, this time softer, almost melodic. "To break the curse, you must uncover what lies within, a memory trapped, a soul entwined." "What memory?" I asked, the words barely passing my lips. A vision surged, plunging me into the dark abyss of the doll's past. A child's laughter faded into tears. Eyes filled with longing and sorrow stared back at me from the porcelain face. A storm of memories, painful, vivid, began to unravel in my mind. I saw her, a little girl lost, choking on loneliness. I saw the silhouette of a mother fading away, casting a shadow of grief over the doll. No, I gasped, realization crashing over me. The doll was a vessel of unfulfilled love, a reminder of loss that clung tightly to its owner's heart. It's about a mother. She lost her child. But before I could grasp the thread deeper, the shadows surged forward, shrieking with rage. Do not awaken what should remain asleep. They warned, sinister whispers slicing through the air. Suddenly, the golden light flared wildly, overwhelming the darkness for a heartbeat. I could feel the energy thrumming beneath my skin, urging me to dig deeper, to face the truth head-on. No! Don't let it in! Sophia screamed, her voice nearly drowned by the cacophony. It's our only chance. I shouted back, my heart pounding against my ribcage like a caged bird desperate for release. I couldn't let the doll's fear trap us. I had to unearth its truth and confront the horror. As I summoned all my strength, the shadows erupted in fury. The laughter turned into howls of anguish, swirling around me, desperate to drown out the truth being revealed. Pieces of memories cracked like glass, scattering around me. I could hear fragments of a lullaby, words heavy with loss, echoing in the air, then silence thick and paralyzing. What if we can't handle it? Sophia whispered, her voice trembling now. The light flickered, dimming as if sensing our hesitation. I took a deep breath, heart racing. We have to. My spirit screamed for release, for freedom from this cycle of anguish. Just as I began to draw the energy closer, the vision of the shadows twisted anew. In the blink of an eye, I glimpsed a face emerging from the darkness, a twisted, malevolent grin splattered with echoes of past anguish. Will you face me? It challenged, its voice a cruel caress. My breath caught. Every instinct screamed to turn away, but I couldn't leave this behind without understanding the curse that bound me. Who are you? I demanded, eyes locking with the hollowed stare. The shadows shifted, and I felt the air grow colder. I am the keeper of the truth and your greatest fear. And just like that, reality trembled as the shadows loomed larger, warping into figures of past torment, each one vying to snatch away the light. What had I just unleashed? The fear grew stronger as I realized we were on the brink of uncovering something truly terrifying. A voice echoed above the rising chaos, to embrace the light, you must first face the dark. Will you dare to unveil what lies beneath? What exactly awaited us in the depths of that darkness, waiting to pull us in forever? The air thickened with dread as the shadows began to swirl around us, their forms growing sharp and distinct. I could hear whispers, words slipping through the chaos, laced with malice and sorrow. You cannot run from your fears. They will find you. Collectively, we braced ourselves. Sophia's grip tightened as she faced the malevolent grin, and as our eyes met, a surge of determination rippled between us. We weren't alone. The doll pulsed in my hands, its golden glow flickering like a desperate heartbeat, guiding us through the encroaching darkness. We have to remember why we're here, I shouted, trying to drown out the cacophony. We're not just fighting for ourselves, but for the truth trapped within this doll. The shadows hissed and shrieked, voices rising in a chaotic blend of rage and sorrow. You play with powers beyond your understanding. This truth will destroy you. Then let it. Sophia cried, her voice fierce and unyielding. We're not afraid of the dark anymore. The moment those words left her lips, a tremor ran through the air, echoing with unspent energy. I could feel the vibrations coursing through my bones, resonating with a truth I had yet to fully acknowledge. With that thought, a memory surged forward, shards of a past I didn't know, but felt within me, half-formed yet potent with emotion. Think. I commanded, grasping the precious moments. Think of the child's laughter, of the love that turned to sorrow. The doll responded, its light flaring brighter, illuminating the figures lurking in the edges of shadows. A deep, throaty laugh rippled through the crowd as one shadow stepped forward. It was a woman, her face a mask of despair, twisted in anguish. I recognized her instantly, the mother from the memories I had glimpsed, a specter caught between longing and grief. Do you think you can change what has already been lost? She wept. The pained expression twisted my heart, forcing empathy into my gut. You can never bring her back. Maybe not, I admitted, my voice trembling. But I can understand your pain. I can help you find peace. A flicker of hope crossed her features, but it was gone before it could take root. Peace does not exist in the clutches of torment. It is only a mirage allure set to trap the unsuspecting. The shadows stirred, growing angrier. They surged forward like tidal waves, ready to drown us in their rage. I felt the chill brush against my skin, fear creeping in, ready to smother the flickering light of certainty I carried. Together, Sophia and I instinctively stepped closer to the doll, keeping it between us and the darkness. Fear feeds them. I yelled, urging Sophia to hold on to courage. Remember the laughter. Remember the love. That can beat this darkness. Suddenly, the cacophony silenced, and a breath of wind swept through, stirring the shadows like leaves caught in a storm. They halted, momentarily frozen as if our defiance had caused a crack in their fortress. No! The spectral mother cried out, eyeing us with a blend of horror and longing. You cannot hold the light. It is destined to fade. Her words seemed to revive the shadows, granting them renewed strength to wrench away the light. The darkness surged forward, twisting and curling around us, desperate to snatch the doll from my grasp. As we struggled to fight back, the mother's eyes locked with mine, a pleading look haunting her face. Then face me. She screamed, her voice reverberating with pain and power. I staggered back, heart racing. What do you want from me? With every ounce of strength, I pushed back against the darkness surrounding us. I had to see her truth before it consumed us whole. Through the fog of despair, I saw it, the memory bursting forth like a dam breaking. A scene unfurled before me, lush green fields, a little girl running, hair streaming behind her, laughter dancing upon the breeze. A moment of pure joy radiated, brighter than the shadows threatening to pummel us into nothingness. Then a shadow loomed, dark and monstrous, snatching at the girl with vicious claws. No! I have to stop it. I roared, but the scene twisted again. Images flashing, fingers grasping desperately for the fading light, terror flooding her innocent face, the mother screaming, her voice a haunting wail of loss. The shadows converged again, their hands reaching out with intent. Face your fears or lose everything. In that instant, the room echoed with fury. The laughter, the joy, the very essence of a soul yearning to be free, fought against the suffocating twofold dread. I felt the weight of the moment bearing down, choices sliding away beneath me. Will we sink or rise, freedom or despair? I whispered, drawn between two destinies. Just then, a blinding light erupted from the doll, spilling forth like liquid gold, illuminating the darkness. As it washed over us, I realized this was the true moment of choice. Would confronting the darkness bring us salvation, or damnation? But the shadows surged, ready to strike. And I was left trembling, waiting for whatever fate awaited us in the void just ahead. The storm raged on, but amidst the chaos, something shifted. An electric tension crackled in the air as the blinding light from the doll began to swell, its golden glow sparkling like 1,000 fireflies amidst the thickening shadows. Each pulse of light revealed the wicked faces lurking in the dark, a multitude of twisted forms, waiting to seize the glimmer of hope. Hold on! I shouted, gripping the doll tighter. The warmth radiating from it felt like a heartbeat, a tether between our world and the encroaching dread. The shadows writhed, screeching as the light pressed forward, illuminating the truth buried within the doll's porcelain shell. Sophia's determination shone through her fear as she stepped closer. This has to be the moment. We confront the darkness, together. Her voice rang with fierce resolve, the kind that sparks courage even in the most dire of circumstances. I nodded, our hands connected in a pact more powerful than any words. As we turned toward the horrific specters, I felt the weight of the past pressing down on us, and every ounce of fear melted into a singular purpose. You'll never take her! I roared, directing my challenge at the multitude of shadows. Foolish children. The twisted figures spat back, their voices a cacophony that filled the air. You think mere light can hold back the abyss? The shadow of the spectre mother surged forward, her sorrow morphing into anger, but I could see in her expressions a flicker of hope, a longing to break free of her chains. With a surge of courage, I faced the doll's surface and closed my eyes, recalling that moment of joy, the little girl laughing, her mother's embrace. I pictured their love, bright and enduring, unfurling like the petals of a flower blooming in spring. The laughter cascaded in my mind, each note slicing through the shadows like a blade. Remember! I yelled, channeling every ounce of strength I had. These shadows, they can only grasp what we allow them. They feed on our fear, our pain, but they cannot touch the essence of our love. As if responding to my words, the doll erupted with a blinding light, more brilliant than I thought possible. The shadows recoiled, shrieking as their forms twisted and blurred. The faces of lost souls flickered, their inky darkness peeling away like layers of fabric stripped from a wounded heart. Sophia's voice rose beside me, echoing my sentiments. We're stronger than you think. You'll never hold us back. Her fierce words ignited an internal flame, burning away doubts whispering at the corners of my mind. The mother's haunting figure came closer, her eyes reflecting desperation and fear. You cannot bring her back. She yelled, but this time, her voice trembled, uncertainty creeping in. You believe love can conquer grief, but can it bridge the chasm of loss? My heart ached for her. It's not just about conquering, it's about understanding. Let your grief speak, and it will set you free. I pointed the doll toward her, a beacon of warmth and light. Feel everything, allow the love to echo through the pain. The world swirled around us, colors blending with an urgency as the shakes intensified. Glimmering threads of love formed a bridge right between the spectre mother and the doll. The shadows lurked, waiting eager to claim any wavering heart, grasping for hesitation. Now! I shouted to Sophia as the light burst forth again, illuminating the haunted space like dawn breaking through a long night. The figures squirmed as the light pushed closer, disintegrating their forms, spiraling them into nothingness. Hold on to that memory! Sophia cried, her energy mingling with mine as we focused on the warmth overwhelming me, letting the bond of love carry us forward. I felt the ground tremble, and underneath us, the shadows buckled, revealing glimpses of forgotten stray souls trapped by sorrow. Take it! I wailed, as the golden light surged, radiating brighter until it enveloped everything, me, Sophia, and even the spectre mother. Feel your daughter, and let her go. The tempest of shadows erupted in a wail, shattering against the impact of the light. The mother's form morphed, her features softening as love began to resonate within her. Slowly, the anguish on her face melted into a serene acceptance. I can feel her, she whispered, tears of light streaming down her cheeks, brightening the encroaching darkness. In that moment of release, every shadow pulsed and writhed, aching to maintain its claim. But the love, even in its fragility, proved to be a stronger force than any darkness could contend with. The myriad of chilling forms began to drift, their anguished howls slowly fading into relieved whispers. As the last echoes of their presence dissolved into the air, the storm around us quieted, leaving a heavy stillness that enveloped our newfound reality. I let out a shuddering breath, my heart hammering with emotion, relief mixed with profound sadness, knowing what we had faced, and what we had liberated. Sophia turned toward me, her eyes shining bright. We did it, she murmured, incredulous yet empowered by what we had just achieved. But the relief would not fully settle in until we faced what lay before us. The ghostly mother stood solemn and serene, her spirit gliding free now, unburdened. Thank you, she whispered, a haunting melody of gratitude entwined with the winds of the moment. You have freed us all. No longer bound by despair, she began to fade, transformed into a swirl of brilliant light. The dolls scattered in a harmonious dance, their glassy eyes no longer filled with sorrow, instead gleaming with the essence of love released. For the first time in what felt like ages, everything felt right. But with peace came a solemn lesson, nestled in the heart of our encounter, the truth woven into every moment lost, and the understanding of love that binds us all, even those consumed by shadows. We will remember, I whispered into the vastness, the heart of what we had learned echoing in my mind. And we will carry it with us. The storm passed into quiet stillness, and in its wake, a sense of tranquility replaced every lingering doubt. Together, Sophia and I stepped away from the remnants of the night, the echoes of sorrow now transformed into delicate threads of hope strung across the horizon. As the first light of dawn peeked through the trees, everything shifted within us, the world ahead undulating with promise, rebirth, a new beginning washed in the golden hues of first light. And as we walked forward, I knew this was more than just an end. It was the start of our story, and the truth was finally ours to keep. Before we part ways, I need you to take action. You need to subscribe now to catch more exclusive stories like this one. It's the moment to show your support. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this wild ending. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. This community thrives on your engagement, and only true fans understand how vital it is to support the channel through these actions.